Hello, welcome back to one of my videos. This video is going to be rather cryptic, especially for people who do not make comfort dolls. So this video really is for people who've made comfort dolls a lot and know the process. So this is a comfort doll that has an alien body, basically an alien look. So until just above the eyes, I would say the comfort doll is standard, and then I decrease in a way that gives this alien head. If it was a kitty, then you wouldn't even decrease, depending on the size of obviously this is a different pattern, but this is Esther Breathwaite. And when you get to the top, then you simply, she has Kitchener cast off, after and a straightforward cast off, and sewn up. So that's your average comfort doll. This is the earlier aliens, where I decreased 4 times per row, 4 decreases per row, and I just continued decreasing until I was left with between 5 and 7 stitches, depending on the alien, and made the antenna. But now the alien has progressed and he looks like that. And so this video is just a run through of the pattern. So if you are familiar with comfort dolls, you will know that you cast on. And some comfort dolls, there is a cast on and there's no increase. So you would cast on the amount of stitches you need for the body. I like the little feet going in. And so I have an increase on the second row. Obviously you can take a screenshot of this and then you will have an idea. I'd take a screenshot with the little dolls, and then you'd have an idea. You wouldn't have to come back to this video. So I cast on and I pull one row, and then I increase on the knit row, and I increase by 15. So I just basically knit to increase across 15 stitches. You can increase in the way that you want. If you want to knit back forward, or you want to lift the loop, whichever way you want, and then you knit the last one. It'll give you 33 stitches. So this is my stitch count. So I start off with 18, and then I get 33, and then I start doing the body. Here, most people, when they do the comfort dolls, they do not, in the patterns, they do not make markers for the crotch or the armpits. As some comfort dolls, for instance, like the little kitty, they will make fairly long arm definitions for the arm. So it looks like he's got his little hands in his pocket. And but for the alien, I like to have the little armpits. So it's basically a dimple, and then I add little beads in there. Here is a miniature one. It's a different size. And I have also one of these strange videos of mine showing how to make this. I just need to add I sewed it up just now. I was listening to YouTube and I forgot to put that on. So the little dimples, and then you can see where before the beads are added, and then the little, where the crotch is marked, I know where to go down. It makes it so much easier to sew it up to have those markers. So the dimples or the markers are actually purl stitches in stocking. You make the purl on, if it's a purl row, the dimple or the marker is a knit stitch, and if it's a knit row, the marker is a purl stitch, and that's how you get a little contrast stitch. It'll look like this. It's almost barely visible, but there you can see the purl stitch. And so now that I've sewn him up, I will stuff the head, I will close the neck, and once that is done, I will stuff the body, and then I will do the armpits as well as the bottom, and either sew the bottom first, close, or sew it afterwards, depending on how I want to stuff it. If I want to overstuff it, this one over here, he's overstuffed, I made him yesterday. He's not quite finished. Still a little bit of yarn there. So I did not close the bottom until I had done first the arms, and then I stuffed and stuffed and stuffed, closed down the crotch, and then I sewed the bottom because I really wanted to make them very firm. So where are we? That's my little, that's good. Actually got to go with the pink one. Got to sew that onto the top. The eyes, if I'm not using safety eyes, if I'm using buttons, then I like to make a loop. I have made a little video. It's basically loop over the needle, which makes a stitch. And so that by the end of that row, I'll have 35 stitches. I knit 14, I make one stitch by loop over needle, knit 5, make one, knit 14. Here you can see how many rows there are per section. So there's 18 rows for the body from the cast off till the neck. Then there's 2 rows for the contrast color for the neck, also the stocking stitch. Then there's 12 rows for the head up until the decrease. The eyes, you can see, are row 8. And the decrease starts on row 13. So this pattern does tend to jump over, but it's more of a graph pattern than anything else. How do I do row 13? I start off by deciding how big my alien grid is going to be. Let me see if I can find another one that has a different grid. Yeah, this is one of the first ones I made. So he has a much larger grid. He has 5 stitches, and this one has 3. And then afterwards, I just basically did running stitches underneath. Go up and down, picking up the stitches. Makes it very pretty. But I decided that this particular pattern has 3. So I knit 14, knit 2 together, knit 3, knit 2 together, knit 14. And I decrease on every single row. So the next row would be purl 13, knit 2 together, knit purl 3, knit purl 2 together, purl 13. It'll just automatically become logical. There are 2 different ways of doing the top, and I just change the way I want to do it each time. It doesn't really matter. You can see there's a definite going in on this one. I can't tell you which one this one is. This version over here is when you have 13 stitches left, you will purl 2 together twice, purl 3, purl 2 together twice, purl 1. It'll give you 9 stitches. So from 13 you've gone down to 9, you've decreased by 4 across that row. And then you will knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 3, knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 1. And it'll give you 7 stitches. And that antenna will be a 7-stitch antenna, which makes it thicker. If you have a thinner antenna, you'll wait until you have 11 stitches left. Then you'll knit 2 together twice, knit 3, knit 2 together twice. It'll give you 7 stitches, decrease by 4 stitches across the row. You'll purl 2 together, purl 3, purl 2 together, and that'll give you 5 stitches. And then, so this over here, this doesn't actually, sorry about that. This is actually the antenna. So it's 14 rows equal antenna. And the antenna is literally approximately 14 rows. Once again, how many do you want? Just go all the way up until you come to the end. You cut the yarn, go through the stitches, sew it up, adding the little loops if you want to. As I said, I haven't been concentrating on these last 2, and I haven't added them in. So here I put a piece of yarn just so that I could do that. And this one I did now, so I still have the yarn here. But normally I add them in when I'm sewing it up, just so that they can be dangles. They can either be Christmas tree decorations, or you can have them on a keychain. And that's basically it. I put the eyes in before I sew up the body. This one has the disc behind the button is the same color. This one is different. I have videos on how to do that as well. I made them yesterday. Basically, you sew the button in using the holes, and then you crochet a disc. And I tend to use the same size hook as I have with the yarn. So if this is for instance, a 2mm for the yarn, because it's very thin. This one is not. But if it was, then I would use a 2mm hook. But sometimes I use a thicker yarn for the discs as I do for the body, and then I would adjust the hook side. So it's between 2 and 2.5mm that I'm using in both needles and hooks, but also, as I said, adjusting it according to the thickness of the yarn. This is Stylecraft Special DK, and it tends to be on a more of a thinner side as a DK. So some of these I have been knitting up with a 2mm, and some of them are thicker. This one over here is thick. But I knitted him up yesterday with a 2.25, and it's made it very, very compact. And so I thought, well, he's very compact, let me overstuff him. He's really cute. He literally fits into the palm of your hands. Could almost be a worry doll. This one's got a little bell. This is the finishing off. I crochet a band, tie it on, well, sew it in, and then I add a little bell. That's, of course, not necessary. I like my black ones, and that's why this one looks like that. This is my black range, as I call it. So that's why he's going to be the same. Starting off with the contrast color, and then those touches of black. So I'm probably going to be making more of these simply because I like the look. But I have other videos on my little aliens, and I have a big pile here now, so I actually need to make a show and tell finished video of them. And yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching. I know this is quite a cryptic video, but if you do make comfort dolls, then it will make sense. As I said, it literally is just this part here that makes the alien, and of course the eyes. But I had a whole bunch of safety eyes. I put them in and I glued them just to be double sure. But I've run out of those, so that's why I'm now using the buttons that I have, because I have a big storage of buttons. And they didn't need discs behind them because the safety eyes clip in, and there was no need. But the buttons leave a gap, and I don't like it. This one over here. Try to glue it down. That was unsuccessful. So yeah, he's a bit of a failure. Look, the glue's come through. It's a real shame. He's a cute little alien. But it's a hit and miss. So as I said, if you do have safety eyes, none of these I made. I didn't make holes for any of these. I just put it between the stitches. It wasn't necessary to have holes. Thank you very much, and I'm wishing you a wonderful day. Bye for now.